thought of it is that you're seeing all these very conflicted characters that I don't know about you, but in the beginning, it was very hard to look at all these characters that seemed so irredeemable, that seemed so messed up with all their issues and problems. And yet as the show has progressed, we started to realize that the true heroic journey of the hero in mythology is really not about the perfect person that never makes a mistake or falls off the cliff. It's about the fact that sometimes it's the one who falls the furthest into the deepest darkness and struggles to find their way back, to deal with their demons, to come to terms with that. And sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but that journey is the most powerful one. And that's something that we can all relate to, and I think that this show goes into the heart of that. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Another question here? Yes.
I was going to say, what can you tell us about a spin-off series?
Well, as you know, Caprica, I'm sure you've all heard about Caprica. They're finally going to go 50 years before this BattleStar Galactica took off and go back to when the formation of the controversy between the AI technology and the humans was in its earliest stages. When AI technology was becoming more and more sophisticated, you're going to get to see how that process happened where technology began to turn against the humans. It's going to basically deal with two families. It's going to be taking place on Caprica, so it's going to be earthbound in a sense, although I'm sure they will have space scenes, but it's going to be much more on Earth, dealing with the civilization of man, dealing with AI technology, and two families, almost like, what was that, the nighttime soap opera with the two families?
Dynasty.
Dynasty. It's going to be like Dynasty. It's going to be the Adama family, and then it's going to be this other family. I don't know what the name of the other family is, but you're going to get to see really all the underpinnings that set up this, BattleStar Galactica story. It's going to be interesting how they can make these two series maybe even have a way of influencing each other. Be interesting. I kept trying to figure out how old I would be, if I was back on Caprica, trying to figure out some way to slip into that show, If anybody has an epiphany, let me know, please. Anyway, somebody had a hand up over here. Yes.
I love the new show, and I think it's very well written. But I do have a question. Since you know Ron Moore pretty well, what do you think the odds are that he would be willing to try a 3-part episode that, in a different timeline, that just features some of the original cast? Do you think he would be open to that idea?
Well, it's very hard when you're actually you're still in the building stage. Believe it or not, most series don't stay on long enough to actually fully flesh out the universe, as you know. One of the things I say about the original Battlestar is how many shows are on for 1 year and are remembered at all. The truth of it is, for that show to be remembered tells you that the core story of Battlestar was that powerful, even though obviously there was a lot of mistakes and flaws with the original show, as with any show. But I do think that, oh God, there goes my mind. They say creative people are, what is it, attention deficit? What was the question? What was the original question?
Ron Moore has.
Oh, right, I got it back. Okay. Thank you. Right. So you're still, even into year 3, they're still really exploring the BattleStar Galactica universe, setting it up, building the characters, the relationships. It really takes 2 to 3 years for a year to start to find its sail, to really get into the strength of that show. And this show, if you haven't seen the new season, let me just tell you that you're in for a huge, not only treat, but an incredible ride. I mean, if you like the last 2 seasons, I think this is the best. It's some of the best writing that I've ever seen. But it takes time to develop that. So something like that, they're actually doing it a little bit now with the comic books, the webisodes. They're going to start exploring some of the side elements of Battlestar, because you can do that through developing side stories and getting to know some of the secondary characters. But I do think that Tom DeSanto and Glenn Larson, because they have the movie rights, that they may do an animated version of the original story using the original actors plus obviously a new generation of actors, because that's what they were going to do in the original. So that's basically what we were doing, is to have our kids. In fact, what would have happened is Jamie would have been my son, Katie would have been, that's what you would have had. But the truth of it is, they're trying to see if they can do an animated version, I think, of the original Battlestar, which I think would be a great idea. And they would be able to maybe explore and at least have a complete story arc and bring it to some kind of a, you know what I mean? For all of those actors, I mean, all those fans out there that never got a chance to kind of feel a sense of closure with the original Battlestar. So again, you know, as I've told people, you can truly love both shows, and as we've watched this new show progress, I'm finding now that the new show is bringing a lot of the strengths and the best parts of the original show back, but obviously evolving it in much deeper, more profound ways, which is what the brilliance of Ron Moore. I mean, he recognizes what's good and what's of value, and he's mining the original show for that. So I think all these fans of both shows are realizing that this is truly becoming a BattleStar Galactica for all of us. You know, and I think that the sense of hope and family is also coming into this show. But it's still, you know, it's not pretty pictures. I mean, life can be tough. And especially if you've gone up against such a catastrophic event, that's something that brings out the best and worst in people. But that's what makes the greatest drama. Catastrophic events really force human beings to deal with their stuff. And that's what I love about this show. One last question, and I'm going to play a couple trailers. I'll take a few more questions afterwards. Yes?
Not that I don't love flying motorcycles or as a 2-year-old, but is the riding going on far enough in the future that we'll be able to avoid a Galactica 1980?
You know, I have tried for 28 years to forget. Thank you for reminding me. I had a frontal lobar lobotomy, removed that part of my mind. I thought that was the biggest mistake they ever made with Battlestar, because I honestly think had they brought Battlestar back for a second year, and second years are when the producers get to do all those stories that they wanted to do the first year that the network wouldn't let them do. Because then the network is now putting their attention on all the new shows and causing them hell, and they kind of let you alone for 5 minutes. You know, I think had we had that second year, we would have gone into deeper stories, and I think that Battlestar would have been around for several years. But I don't think you're going to have to worry about 1980. I think the Sci-Fi Channel is a much smarter group of people now. They're really, I think, getting on it now. They're really getting good. I mean, they're bringing some really talented people on board. As you can see, this new show, Eureka, is a really, really good show. There's a bunch of other stuff that they're planning. But they really support Battlestar where it's going. They never in a million years could they go make that monumental mistake. Although they did take off Farscape.
Farscape.
Yeah.
That is unforgivable! All right, so I'm going to play this trailer. So now this is an amazing trailer. It's pretty powerful, and the music's powerful, and I think you're really going to enjoy meeting Bear McCreary and all these incredible musicians. And then I'm going to play this 10-minute comedy reel after that. So, and if there's any time left after that, I've got a couple of other things that I can play as well.
Can you play the Galactica trailer first?
Yeah, I can do all of that stuff.
Well, we don't, I mean... You know.
How much time do we have?
All the time you want.
We only have 20 minutes?
As much time as you need.
I wonder if I should just do 20 minutes.
Galactica
Wow.
Magellan.
Is there somebody in here right after... Wow, it's too bad because this Bear McCreary trailer is so moving, so powerful, but it's 20 minutes. It's going to take up the whole time.
No.
How many people want to see the Bear McCreary 20-minute trailer? How many want to see that? Yes. Okay. How many people want to see the comedy reel? All right, more people. All right. We'll play the comedy reel, and then we won't have time for the other, but we can play a couple of the other trailers. All right. So let's put on the comedy reel, which is the second.
Yes, but some of us want to go see the Firefly panel. We will. That's why I want to see the other stuff first. You can stay for Bear.
And then I think we're going to play...
Yeah, but we're all... The line's going to be already around the block.
Lock the doors back there. Don't let anybody in.